Quick question. Next time you ask an AI to summarize something, explain something, or draft something for you, try to notice this. Are you actually reading the answer? Or are you just scanning for the part that lets you stop thinking about it? Sit with that for a second, because that reflex, the just give me the answer reflex, might be the most underrated attention problem of the next 5 years. And unlike doom scrolling, almost nobody's talking about it yet. The reframe. We already know screens shrank our attention span. There's actual research on this. One of the most cited attention span researchers in the world tracked how long people could focus on a single thing before switching away. In 2003, it was about 2.5 minutes. By 2012, it had dropped to around 75 seconds. In her most recent numbers, it's down to roughly 47 seconds. That's the story everyone already knows. Here's the part nobody's saying yet. AI isn't going to shrink your attention span the way social media did. It's going to do something different, and arguably worse. It's going to shrink your need to pay attention at all. Social media competed for your focus. AI just quietly removes the moments where focus was ever required in the first place. The mechanism. Cognitive offloading. There's a term researchers use for this. Cognitive offloading. It just means handing a mental task to something outside your own brain. A calculator instead of doing math. GPS instead of learning a route. And now, AI instead of actually thinking something through. Offloading itself isn't new or evil. Writing things down is offloading. The problem is what happens to the skill you stopped using. There's a study that should honestly worry more people than it does. Radiologists who got used to AI assistance for spotting tumors were tested without it a few months later, and their own unassisted detection ability had measurably dropped. Not because they got lazier, because a skill they stopped exercising quietly got weaker, without them noticing it happening. That's the part that should scare you a little. It's not a dramatic collapse, it's silent. You don't feel your attention span shrinking in the moment you outsource a thought. You only find out later, when you sit down to focus on something with no AI in the room, and it feels harder than it used to. This already happened once, the Google effect. Here's the part that actually convinced me this isn't just AI panic, because we already ran a version of this experiment once, over a decade ago, with search engines. Back in 2011, a Columbia University psychologist published a now famous memory study. She found that when people know they can look something up later, they stop bothering to remember the fact itself. And instead, their brain remembers where to find it. Ask someone something hard, and their mind doesn't reach for the answer. It reaches for the search bar. Researchers call this transactive memory, offloading facts the same way you'd offload them to a friend who happens to remember things better than you do. On its own, that's not a disaster. Nobody needs to memorize every fact in existence. But notice what's different about AI. Search engines made you outsource facts. AI lets you outsource thinking, the reasoning, the drafting, the working through. If outsourcing facts changed what our brains bothered to remember, what does outsourcing the reasoning itself change? That's not a rhetorical question for drama. It's the actual question researchers are racing to answer right now. And one large study tracking heavy AI users already found a measurable link between how much people leaned on AI and how they scored on critical thinking assessments, with offloading as the mechanism connecting the two. It's not just your work, it's your attention to people too. And this isn't staying contained to homework and emails. There's a growing body of research now looking at people using AI companions for conversation, comfort, even relationship-like interaction. The concern researchers keep raising isn't really about the AI itself. It's what a relationship with something that never disagrees, never gets tired, never needs anything back, does to your ability to handle a relationship with someone who does. Real relationships take friction, reading someone's mood, tolerating disagreement, sitting through an awkward silence. Those are attention skills too, and skills that go unused get soft, the same as any other. So this isn't only AI might make you worse at thinking, it's AI might make you worse at paying attention to another human being, because it's always quietly offering you the smoother, easier version somewhere else. The live demonstration. Let's actually test this instead of just talking about it. Think of one question you'd normally ask an AI right now, something you were even slightly curious about today. Got one? Now, for the next 15 seconds, actually try to work through it yourself. No typing, just think. 10. Notice how much your brain wanted to shortcut that? How badly some part of you wanted to just open the app and get the answer, instead of sitting in the "I don't know yet" part. That discomfort is the exact muscle this video is about. It's not laziness. It's a skill quietly going soft from disuse, the same way your legs get weaker if you stop using stairs. The obvious pushback. But AI makes me faster. I know what some of you are thinking, because I think it too. This sounds nice, but I have deadlines. I don't have time to think slowly on purpose. Fair. And here's the honest answer. You're right that AI makes you faster, right now, in the moment, on that one task. Nobody's disputing that. The question this video is actually asking is a different one. Not, does AI help me finish this faster? But, what happens to me, a year from now, if every task like this one gets outsourced the same way? Speed on a single task and strength over a year are two completely different scoreboards, and almost all AI anxiety content only ever talks about the first one. This isn't an anti-AI video. It's a video about making sure you're the one still holding the second scoreboard. Why just use it less doesn't actually work. The obvious advice is use AI less. That's not realistic, and it's not even the right target. AI isn't going anywhere, and used well, it genuinely does make people faster and sharper. The problem was never the tool. It's using it as a replacement for thinking instead of a starting point for it. The framework. Answer first, ask second. Here's the actual protocol. 4 steps, applied to almost anything you'd normally hand straight to an AI. Step 1. Attempt it first, badly, if needed. Before you open the app, spend even 60 seconds forming your own rough answer, even a wrong one. This is the step almost everyone skips, and it's the only one that actually protects the underlying skill. A bad first attempt isn't wasted effort, it's the rep. The struggle itself is what keeps the skill alive. Skipping straight to the answer is exactly how you skip the rep. Step 2. Ask the AI to check you, not replace you. Instead of, write this for me, try, here's my attempt, what am I missing? That single change flips the interaction from offloading to actual learning, and you keep every bit of the speed. You still get the AI's full capability. You're just handing it your draft instead of your blank page. Step 3. Read like you'll be tested on it. Before you accept an AI's answer, explain it back to yourself in your own words, out loud if you can. If you can't restate it, you didn't actually absorb it. You just borrowed it for a few seconds. This is the same principle every serious student already knows. You don't understand something until you can teach it, even to an empty room. Step 4. Pick one thing per week you do the long way, on purpose. One email, one small decision, one piece of research, something you deliberately do without AI at all, start to finish. Not because AI is bad for it, Because a skill that's never asked to work unaided is a skill you can't actually verify you still have. Attempt first. Ask second. Explain it back. Do one thing the long way each week. That's the whole system. And none of it costs you real time. Because steps 1 through 3 add maybe a minute to tasks that already take several. The honest caveat. This is going to feel slower at first, and a little annoying, honestly. That's not a flaw in the method, it's the entire point. The fast version, where you skip straight to the AI's answer, is exactly the version that lets the skill atrophy quietly in the background. The same way the radiologists in that study didn't notice their own skill slipping until someone tested them without the tool. You won't feel this working day to day. You'll feel it the one day you're somewhere without AI. A bad signal, a closed laptop, a conversation in real time. And you notice whether your own mind still shows up when it's the only thing in the room. The close, the actual stakes. This isn't really about AI. It's about the same thing every video on this channel keeps circling back to. The gap between an impulse and a response, and what happens to your mind when that gap disappears. Screens took the gap out of your free time. AI is quietly taking it out of your thinking time. And thinking time is the one you really can't afford to lose. Because that's not just where your focus lives. That's where your judgment does. Your opinions do. The parts of you nobody can outsource on your behalf, even if you wanted them to. The tool isn't going anywhere, and it shouldn't. The only question is whether you're still the one doing the thinking, or just the one approving it. Next time you're about to ask an AI something, try giving yourself 60 seconds first. Just once today. Then, tell me in the comments what you noticed.